Hi guys, today we're going to look at how to improve your English in 5 easy steps. Go through them one by one, maybe 1 or 2 days for every step, and you will find your English will improve immensely in a very short time. First one, if you ask any person how to get better in a certain foreign language, the answer will be you have to learn words. You have to learn more words and phrases and expressions to say what exactly you want to say, and to be more precise and thereby be more interesting in what you say. So here's how to do this. We're going to look at 2 sentences, and they're very easy, they're very obvious. He was afraid he had never kissed a girl before. Now, you could boost these sentences, you could improve them by using different vocabulary to make them more precise. So, for instance, you might say, looking at the first sentence only now, he felt panicky. Now, you can already see how this is a synonym. It's almost the same meaning, but not quite, because if it was actually the same meaning, then we wouldn't need the word. So being panicky is a little different from being afraid. It means you're sort of, really scared of what's going to happen next. You have body reactions to all this. So you've changed the sentence just a little bit and made it more precise. In English, you would say he was gripped by panic. That's what we call an idiomatic expression, which means basically that English people would say this, or speakers of English would say this, because you could also say he was taken over by panic, he was overwhelmed by panic, he was overcome by panic. But and any English speaker would understand this, but he or she would actually say gripped by panic, because that's the idiomatic way of saying it. You could say he was anxious, he felt anxious, which is quite different again. Anxious means you're just a little nervous, just, not really knowing what's going to happen next. It's a little bit between negative and positive, so quite different from panic. You might say somebody felt completely lost, having lost his bearings, his orientation, or her orientation, not knowing what to do, what's right or wrong. So again, quite a different word and really more precise than just saying afraid. And of course, there are many other words you could use. And each of them sort of changes the meaning of your sentence very slightly or even dramatically. And the thing is, each of these words makes your sentence more precise. It shows that you have the words to really say how the person, the character feels. Okay? When you look for synonyms like that, you might want to use a page like thesaurus.com or Merriam-Webster.com or the Oxford Dictionary or Collins Dictionary. Whatever, you will easily find these pages by typing in synonyms in Google and the word you're looking for synonyms to. So that's a vocabulary. Never forget that you need to learn these words. You need to be able to use them, so you need to use index cards. Write them on index cards and always make sentences, never written ones, but orally speaking. Make sentences in which you use these words and you become conscious of what exactly they mean. The next one is connecting your thoughts, second step. Now, I deliberately didn't say connecting your sentences. You noticed a new word, deliberately, on purpose, intentionally. I wanted to do this. I didn't say connecting your sentences because I really want to draw your attention to the fact that a sentence is a thought of yours. And as a reader, I really want to follow your thoughts. So do make it easy for me by using what you've learned in class already, namely connectives. You connect your thoughts by using connectives. The obvious one would be because. He was afraid because he had never kissed a girl before. That's fine. English people would use 2 other connectives here, which mean the same thing, but they sort of sound more English to English ears. He was afraid, comma, as he had never kissed a girl before. Mind the comma, please put the comma here before as. He was afraid, comma, for he had never kissed a girl before. Yeah? Both mean the same as because, but they're different. They sound more English to the ears of native speakers. And also they give you variety. You don't always have to say because. Okay, so do make sentences and practice making sentences like that. You could swap the order of the sentences, of course, and now something happens. When you say he had never kissed a girl before, so he was afraid, you're drawing the reader's attention to the first part here, to the fact that he had never kissed a girl before. So in the sentences before, the focus was on his feeling of being afraid. And then you gave the reader the reason why he was afraid. But now you've changed the focus of your sentence. You want to focus on the fact that he's never kissed a girl before. So you already see what happens when you change sentences like that. You could say he had never kissed a girl before. Consequently, he was afraid. That's a quite formal, almost scientific way of saying it. So you would not use it in a love story unless you wanted to introduce an ironic tone, you know, something very formal and scientific, which of course doesn't usually fit a romantic atmosphere. You could even introduce two connectives. He had never kissed a girl before, so, comma, naturally, comma, he was afraid. The last one is the most important one. I really want to draw your attention to this, and you need to practice this. What you're doing now is you're connecting two sentences by making the first one a participle phrase. That means you change the verb to the ing form, and this sentence would be never having kissed a girl before he was afraid. And what you see here is the opposite of what I told you at the beginning of this page. You're actually not making it so easy for the reader, deliberately again, but the reader has to sort of inject the connective. He has to understand that there should actually be a because or consequently in this sentence. You're just giving him the two facts. So you're making the reader think, which is a good thing because you're drawing him into the text, making him think about the sentence. Yeah, so never having kissed a girl before. Ah, that's the reason. Okay, so this is why he was afraid. And this is something that impresses English teachers a lot. It's something that makes your English sound really nice, and you should really practice this. You should form sentences like this all the time. You should just, in your head, you should make sentences like, walking home from school, I wondered if I had learned anything on that day. Having eaten my dinner, I felt completely full, and so on. Yeah? Practice this so that your brain gets used to it. The third step is the passive. The passive means you switch the attention, the focus from who is doing something actively to what is done to somebody, or who is the person that has things done to her or him. Now, there are several ways of doing this with this sentence. You could say he was afraid because he had never been kissed by a girl before. You realize that this changes the sentence a lot because right now we are given a reason, and the reason is the person seems to feel helpless. He's not the person, the one actively doing something, but he's sort of afraid of the girl kissing him. So you're changing the sentence to adapt it to the feeling of the person and to the situation. We don't know if the girl actually wants to kiss him, but we know that he imagines that she will kiss him. So he becomes a passive agent in this scene. He's not an active person, but he's somebody who has something done to him. The opposite, of course, would be he was afraid, but this girl would be kissed by him. So he's looking at the girl as if she was an object that something is done to. And you can quite clearly, I think, see how the sentence changes again. He becomes something like a sexual predator. He's almost imagining raping this girl. She becomes something almost passive, not a person, but a thing passive in his mind, of course. Yeah? So we are in the mind of somebody who sees this girl as an object. And that makes us understand a lot about the way he thinks. Then, of course, there are different ways you could use the passive to talk about his feelings. What is done to him by his feelings? How are his feelings affecting him? He was deeply shaken by the idea of kissing a girl. He was intrigued by the idea of kissing this girl. He was made curious. He was thinking about what would be the effects of this. He was excited by the idea of kissing this girl, and so on. Okay, so You see how using the passive changes the focus in our sentence. Who is the active part? Who is the passive part? What is being done to people through the action? And again, you see how this makes your text clearer and easier to understand. The fourth one is the gerund. The gerund is again an ing form, and it changes a verb into a noun. Now you will see what that means by example quite easily. He was afraid of kissing the girl. Kissing is a noun here. The gerund, the verb is by making the verb a gerund, it becomes a noun. What is he afraid of? He is afraid of kissing the girl. Okay. And again, if you see how this draws the attention to something new in the sentence, or something that we haven't been looking at before, namely the action itself. The verb is changed into a noun, so you're looking at what is happening, the action that happens in the sentence. And that could be kissing the girl, but it could also be daring to kiss the girl. That's an interesting thought, I think, because it shows that he's sort of afraid of his own courage. He will dare to kiss the girl, he will be courageous and kiss the girl, but he's afraid of his own courage. But of course, you could say he was afraid of having to kiss the girl, in the sense that he doesn't really want to, but he feels the situation or the girl, the situation is asking him to do this, or the girl is expecting him to do this, or whatever. Okay, so again, you focus on the act, the verb. He was afraid of wanting to kiss the girl. Quite obvious. Again, we see how the action becomes the focus when we turn the verb into a gerund. Finally, conditional clauses. What if? You know this, you've practiced this a lot. And again, we see now how the focus switches to the possible things that might happen, which of course have a lot to do with the feeling of fear that we have in our original sentence. If he kissed the girl, if he kissed the girl, it would show her how much she meant to him. So he's not kissing her, but he imagines kissing her. He imagines what might happen if. Okay, so when we use an if sentence, an if clause, a conditional clause, this will always be about what if. And again, this shows us an interesting aspect of a situation. Now be sure not to make that common German mistake to say if he would kiss the girl. In German we have that helpful little reminder, if und would Satz kaputt. Don't say that. So if he kissed the girl, not if he would kiss the girl. Then again, of course, he might be afraid and say if he kissed the girl, she might slap him. So that again shows us he's actually afraid. That was the meaning of our original sentence. So here we are again expressing a similar thing in a conditional clause, but by actually saying what he is afraid of. And finally, of course, you know that you can always use the third type of if clause, which is if he had kissed the girl, she might have slapped him. So he went away without kissing her, and he's wondering what might have happened if he had done it. Okay, so here the opportunity, the chance to do this is over, has passed him by, and he's just thinking back on what might have happened if he had done it. 5 steps to do this, 5 steps to improve your English. I hope this has been a little helpful for you. As always, please leave your questions and thoughts about this in the comments. See you.